culture is actually damn good.
We're not urinating on the fire.
You can stop asking that question. I'm going to be calling the defense.
What I talked to Russell about is none of your business.
In this year's owners' meetings, not much has changed in the NFL landscape, but there were a few big decisions made. In an attempt to massage the egos of the refs union, the motion to make roughing the passer reviewable was rejected. It doesn't matter. We all knew it was going to be like reviewing pass interference a few years ago, where only a play or two was overturned and blatant PI wasn't because reasons. You will, however, see more potential ref ball and players with the number 0 on the field. There will also be no gradual cuts down to the final roster in the preseason from 90 players, which should keep starters fresh for a probable wave of injuries in week 2 of the season. Speaking of changes that no one wants, there's a chance that Thursday Night Football will have flex scheduling. It's more than likely going to be up for vote in May, and would give teams at least 15 days notice of a change from Sunday to Thursday. This would be terrible for the game, but remember, the dollar is what drives the NFL. TV rights fees are far more important to the league than the fans, and we all know it. It'll probably be reality barring a miracle. On to the NFC's moves. Atlanta needs consistency and the ability to finish a damn game. If they can manage that, they might be able to do something with themselves. This offseason, they went after men that may have the chance to help them there. All the weapons they acquired to shore up their defense. David Onyemata, Calais Campbell, Mike Hughes, Caden Ellis, and Jesse Bates. True influence that will surely get them in a much better situation if all goes to plan. Plus, had a fallen top prospect in Jeff Okudah and a fresh start. It cost them next to nothing to do. Even Jonnu Smith was acquired as insurance at tight end. Also for next to nothing. Unlike extending Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom, Lindstrom is pretty good. Good enough to become the highest paid guard in NFL history. Whomever their QB is next year should hopefully be in good hands. Be it Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke and his 10,000 dogs. Or they could change their minds on Lamar and pay up for him.
Atlanta Falcons select Bijan Robinson, running back, Texas.
Really, Atlanta? A fucking running back? Did you not see Tyler Algier emerge as a 1,000-yard rusher last year? I know Bijan has a shitload of talent, but you had Christian Gonzalez right there! He could have been a shutdown tandem with AJ Terrell for a decade! Yes, the Falcons need a pass-catching running back, but you can get that shit in round 3! Dude, I'm not even a Falcons fan and I'm pissed at them. You better hope that Bijan is just as much the elite bell cow as people say he is. And it has to be out the gates. Drafting a runner this high nowadays isn't the hip, trendy thing to do. If this team had any sort of clutch gene last year, they would have hosted a home playoff game. Their asses would have been thoroughly kicked, but with how bad the division was last year, it would have been better than Tampa Bay being shit. To properly shed old labels, you have to wash away everything. And I mean everything. The defense has been reforged with a plethora of free agents and hired guns. The offensive line stronger than ever. Bijan Robinson brought in to add another great weapon to the running game. But we all know what'll make or break the Falcons this year. Desmond Ridder. The Falcons really like him, but can their affections convert to on-field success? It's a tough answer at the quarterback position. I'm surprisingly bullish on Atlanta this year, which is probably the kiss of death for them. Sorry boys, prepare for more agonizing last-second losses. This is the weakest NFC as a whole I've seen in a long time. We've gone from Rodgers, Breeze, Brady, and more to Jalen Hurts and maybe some other things. This is going to lead to some wonky results, I know it. First off, I believe there's a repeat winner in the NFC East. Philly takes it thanks to their offense. Sorry, Dallas. The NFC North, I'm going to kill myself in the future for it, but I'm picking Detroit. I think the Lions do it this year. Think that's crazy? I have Atlanta winning the NFC South. The only other serious contender here is New Orleans, and I don't trust them to stay healthy. NFC West, all things considered, is Seattle's to lose. This could change if Bosa plays and Purdy stays healthy, so I have them in a wildcard spot. The other 2 slots go to Dallas and Minnesota. As I said though, the final spots are anyone's guess. And that's the majesty of the game itself. Enough talk. Let's get to the football. Welcome to the NFL, rookie. Bryce Young will get harsh lessons thrown at him with rapid speed. Even on his first touchdown pass, where Hayden Hurst chucks it into the crowd in a Madden animation. The rest will be sniped from the air by Jesse Bates. Multiple times if we might add. Today we ask a long-debated question. Can you win a football game without competent quarterback play? This technically could be answered by either team, but it's correct for Atlanta. You can thank the overhauled defense and Bijan Robinson becoming Superman and carrying the offense. Tyler Algier did as well, which is going to frustrate the living hell out of fantasy football owners everywhere. You think Arthur Smith really gives a shit about that, though? He got the win. That's all that matters. Arthur Smith does not need to answer to criticism. The ends are more than justification to his means. His offense is eternally frustrating. They don't use Kyle Pitts as anything more than ornamental decoration, and his decision-making baffles the mind, but there is method to his madness. It may be an indirect result of what he does, but he walks in and wills his way. For 3 quarters, the Packers controlled an honestly sloppy game. Jordan Love was making the plays he needed to make, and they were up by 12. There's a reason why they call the fourth quarter the witching hour. Crazy shit tends to happen in such a time. Atlanta's newly sculpted defense cracked down on Green Bay. Only 7 yards surrendered in the final 15 minutes. If the offense can manage to do something with Desmond Ridder doing whatever he's doing, they'll manage. The good news for them is that they're facing Vanilla Joe Barry. His schematics are special. Yeah, let's just call it that. Then add to it by going for it randomly in field goal range on 4th down to burn more clock. It works. The Falcons went from irrelevant to taking the lead. Green Bay responds with an illegal shift penalty. Game over. The Packers suffer a brutal defeat in a Falcons-style choke. Arthur Smith says nothing and leaves. There's magic afoot in Atlanta. The Arthur Smith experience is an aggravating one to fantasy football owners everywhere. And honestly is for Falcons fans in general. Against Detroit, Atlanta will be as miscast and underwhelming as Bijan is in this damn offense. A Lions unit that was minced and diced all over this field last week fixed up the leaks. They would suffocate anything that resembled a Falcon attack. Desmond Ridder wants to do something? Good, here are the anti-air guns to shoot it down. Detroit's defense gains redemption after being cast into the fires of hell. That unit and an offense that does enough to give cushion help to lead the Lions to a needed win. With victory, they keep up with an old foe that has constantly tormented them. You know which one I'm talking about. Detroit, just keep doing what you need to do. The chance to keep them under your heel shall arise again soon enough. Wow, kids, look at all these toys that Arthur Smith has to play with. Mint condition Kyle Pitts, a limited edition Drake London. You can't even find Bijan before he's ripped off the shelves. But Arthur Smith isn't like all the other boys. He likes to play with a 2003 Dodge Neon that's lost a wheel. Jacksonville needed a rebound game badly. And good thing they're up against Desmond Ridder. They picked him apart like their name was Sid Phillips. Ridder's like Forky. He's trash. In the confines of their second home in London, the Jags took care of business convincingly and then some. Merely toying with their prey before putting them out of their misery. Remember the scene with the incinerator in Toy Story 3? Just like that, except without the Deus Ex Machina. Yes, this segment was corny as all hell. Did the Falcons really deserve better today? Arthur Smith has many pundits shitting on him for his baffling offensive decisions, but they somehow work. Desmond Ridder has been a mess these past few weeks, but he still gets the call against Houston. The Falcons are a very, very strange team this year. They'll be relatively quiet as an upstart Texans gang chips away at everyone's sanity and attendance. What happens for both teams? A whole lot of nothing. Stalemates in trench warfare. All quiet minus a few skirmishes that go absolutely nowhere. Mostly fumbles by Atlanta near the goal line, adding to the eternal frustration. But the ally of the Falcons this season has been the fourth quarter. Start with Bijan being Bijan. When they use him, he makes it count. A long touchdown drive to regain the lead. Then Desmond Ridder vindicates his coach's loyalty. Solid passes driving the ball down the field for a field goal. However, there's an issue. CJ Stroud is looking like a gem. In their hour of need, he rallies the Texans' ragtag bunch to a long drive of their own and whittle time away until they strike for critical damage.
Throws for the end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
That's a statement drive if there ever was one. Houston now has the lead. But there's another problem. Desmond Ridder is responding in kind. Atlanta can throw the ball to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. It's the perfect recipe to get them right into field goal range.
And who got it? And Atlanta wins it.
As I said, Atlanta is a very strange team. You never know what you're going to get out of them on a given drive. In some cases, it's good things like this. In others, well, we don't really want to talk about that. Future scholars of this game will try to analyze and dissect the Falcons' offense. They will fail to understand anything that they tried or attempted to do. They'll scour through different scrolls and all 22s and come to the same consensus. No one knows what the hell they're doing. Those answers are only known to Arthur Smith. Even then, I personally believe the logic is a monkey banging cymbals. Why he sticks with Desmond Ridder despite him being shit, I don't know. All I know is that Washington, led by Faker Mayfield himself, has pushed the commies to collectivize the lead for their own game. They lead by 14 just after halftime, but knowing Washington, they can't seal the deal thanks to Atlanta's defense being sneakily good. The frustrations of watching the Falcons are on full display. Pure idiocy abound. A touchdown after an impressive and lengthy drive puts them within one score. Yet Arthur Smith decides to go for 2. Dude, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Take 2. The Atlanta Falcons are once again driving down the length of the field. Desmond Ridder eats a sack, but they get insanely lucky because no one can touch the quarterback. Getting to the goal line in response is good enough. Ridder needs to reinforce to the world that he's ass. What the fuck was that, dude? Seriously?
Oh,
no. In fact, let's do it again! Another drive, another failed 4 and out at the hands of Desmond fucking Ridder. If only they had someone else on the bench that they could use. I don't know if anyone, though. We have one more fuck up to move to. Last chance, and Washington's willing to hand them big yardage. Atlanta's also willing to hand them the game.
Ridder on the slant, intercepted!
God, Desmond Ridder is such fucking shit. He's such shit that farmers are using him to revitalize their soil. At least they'll have some use doing that instead of giving away games left and right. I had this team winning the division? Fucking hell, put in Heineke already. Get a real head coach while you're at it. Rooting for Atlanta is the equivalent of getting as close as you can get with the girl of your dreams. You're about to have a passionate makeout session with her, but it's a distraction to be hit repeatedly in the groin. They're 1 or 2 things away from being a real contender, yet they never ever make it easy on themselves. Incredible talents littered throughout the roster, but like Bijan, they never use them. At least they gave us an excuse this week saying he had an illness. So why wasn't he on the injury report? Consider this the opening salvo to a comedy of errors. It wasn't even who wanted to lose the game. It was more a race where both teams kept landing face first on explosives. Desmond Ridder has no soul. Fumbles in the red zone. Fantastic. Tampa doesn't want to be left out in the cold, so why not counter with a horrific fumble of their own deep in Bucs territory? Atlanta is just so kind, though. They'll get it to the 1-yard line and then castrate themselves. Why do you keep doing this, Ridder? Every fucking time. Atlanta's defense is at least balling, so they're somehow still alive. They make the wise decision to not reach the red zone. And Young Wei Koo is at least not going to fumble everything away. But you know who does? The rest of the Falcons offense. Long-ass drive. Dicing the Bucs down the field. And then Desmond Ridder. Why the fuck did you slow down, dude? Please stop. I'm tired. They're so incompetent that they are literally on their knees begging Tampa to take this game. Please, please win it. We need to be poverty. Sadly, the Falcons' defense did not receive transmission. They're still balling. And after endless Herculean efforts, they stopped Tampa from doing much of anything besides tie the game. Simple advice, do not go in the red zone again, Falcons. It will be nothing but pain. Let Young Wei Koo bail you out.
The kick. It's up. It's out. It's through.
Can you please stop making this so damn hard for yourselves? This was one of the sloppiest games I've seen since last week. The Falcons are leading the NFC South? How the fuck does Arthur Smith keep escaping his own incompetence? I'm not even angry, it's incredible. Tennessee has to suffer through watching absolute dog shit at quarterback yet again. Will Levis is also making his debut in what might be an upgrade. With how awful Ryan Over the Hill has been, anything is better. Levis imposed his will on a great defense in his debut. And his game plan was simply, fuck it, DeAndre Hopkins is down there somewhere. Wow, who knew that all you had to do was throw the ball to Nuke Hopkins and you'll be pretty successful? Considering that Levis had 4 touchdowns on the game, more than their passing TD total on the season, it's pretty damning. A lot like watching Desmond Ridder continually fuck the ball over and over and over. Anyone who questions Arthur Smith for his decisions is scoffed and belittled in press conferences. Yet all Desmond does is prove us right with our score. After half, Arthur finally submits, and Ridder is told to ride the pile. What a shocker that Taylor Heineke ran the offense much better once he came in. Totally surprising. Will Levis was the star today, though. He's earned himself another chance, and this win may have salvaged their season in the worst way. Good tribute to the Oiler Blues. even if it feels absolutely haram to do up in Nashville. Minnesota is in hell. And not the standard hell, but a special one created by a vengeful god. Losing Kirk Cousins for the year has put them in a tight spot. Getting the nod today is Jaron Hall, a 5th-round rookie who actually put together a promising opening drive. That's all we'll see of him. He got knocked out of the game with a concussion. Well, Josh, you've only been here for 5 days. Enjoy being thrust into the fire immediately. The sack you take for a safety is complimentary. Don't expect backup. The emergency QB is also injured. Under these circumstances, it should mean a painful loss. Well, you don't know Atlanta and you don't know Arthur Smith. You may have finally used logic into starting Taylor Heineke today, but there are other ways to evade jurisprudence. Like using Jonnu Smith on a jet sweep at the goal line. They do not get into the end zone. That is the Falcons' offense. Having all of these weapons to use on your opponent only to play yourself with a rusty butter knife. Only they missed like Atlanta's defense did against Minnesota's attack. Without their first 2 quarterbacks and 2 of their better wideouts. Josh Dobbs just got in, yet looked like a seasoned pro to bring the game back. Even then, it becomes a stalemate for a bit. And Atlanta is starting to pull away from a cursed Vikings franchise due to reasons of Jonnu Smith? But if there's anything the Falcons are good for this year, it's getting in their own damn way. Give the ball to Bijan, we said. He barely gets the rock as it is. With this fumble, he probably won't see action for weeks. Dobby punishes those that doubt him to tie the game up at 21. Next drive, Atlanta continues the choke with an awful pass by Heineke. Why do you keep doing this to me, Falcons? The agony must continue, though. Minnesota's forced to kick a field goal. Things are quiet until Taylor Heineke unleashes what he's known for. His 10,000 dogs willing the football down the field. Not much in talent, but endless moxie. Thanks to his might, Atlanta takes the lead. But Josh Dobbs is a cerebral being. He's not just comfortable in adversity, he's grown up in it. 5 different franchises have had him on roster in the past year. And Dobby's adapted well to all of them. This, though, might be the peak.
3rd and 4. Time. Catch! Brandon Powell! Touchdown Vikings! And they have the lead!
Never say never, kids. Minnesota went from dead to rights back to jump-starting a potential push. 4 wins in a row for the Vikings, saving their season. It came against the team that repeatedly puts the idiot and idiot savant. Arthur Smith, I have a new formation for you to run. It's called the lolcow. I think it'll fit you guys nicely. I hate this team. I really do. Most teams consider the Cardinals to be a bye week, but you can't do that in this NFL. There's another big reason this time around. Kyler Murray is fully healed from his ACL tear. Going to be given the nod and a chance to save his job. His first test will be a Falcons squad that can't stop getting in their own damn way. Here it's shocking. Atlanta is moving the ball down the field with purpose. Scoring 2 touchdowns in time-eating order, we see the most shocking revelation. Giving the ball to Bijan near the goal line. Incredible. Unbelievable. Common sense. That's all we'll be seeing of that. Anything resembling offense for the Falcons will come to a stop. Arizona gets a touchdown, but Atlanta can't escape their wrath. Even as Kyler throws a welcome back to the NFL pick to give them a surefire TD, the Falcons love themselves doing fuck all with it. You know how this gets worse? Greg Dortch. Big punt return thanks to shitty coverage to allow Arizona to show them how it's done. See, Atlanta? You can score touchdowns in the red zone. Amazing how that fucking works, eh? It sadly gets worse, too. Taylor Heineke's been bitten by his 10,000 dogs. The horror of Desmond Ridder has to come back in. Somehow, things are not completely fucked, which is a strange turn of events considering these two. But of course he trips on a 4th down. Of course he does. God damn it, Arthur, I'm blaming you for this. The fortunate thing is that the Cards go 3 and out, and Atlanta proceeds not to die. Mostly because the refs were desperate to keep Arizona tanking with a ticky-tacky pass interference call. This touchdown by Desmond Ridder is not ticky-tacky. The Falcons have the lead again. If only the defense was as stout as it had been earlier in the year, it'd be fine. Did you forget that Kyler Murray was good? A lot of people did, to be fair, but he's near single-handedly carried the franchise to a win here today. Well done, Kyler. You're ruining the tank.
From 50-plus, a chip shot to win it. Good snap, and the kick is good. And the Arizona Cardinals have won it here in Week 10.
The next time America's Most Wanted comes on, I better see Arthur Smith's mugshot. His mismanagement of this franchise is criminal. He is an enemy of freedom, and his reign of terror must end in order for peace to be restored. A tyrant persecuting anything resembling football. If there's any sanity, he'll be cast back to FedEx where he belongs. Pathetic. The dream is dead. Desmond Ridder is back in the saddle to be shit at quarterback for Atlanta. God has forsaken us all. Watching such unbelievably terrible offense from both sides would be one thing, but then you realize that this game is for the NFC South Division lead. One of these teams will probably be getting crushed by Dallas at home in the wildcard round. If the Cowboys sit at home licking their chops, this game simply turns into who wants to lose the game more. Atlanta tries their damnedest, but New Orleans? Good lord. Hate something as much as the Saints hate play inside the 20. They had 5 red zone opportunities in this contest, and only came out of them with 9 points? How can you be this continuously awful at executing anything besides yourself? Desmond Ridder's out here throwing dimes to your secondary, yet Derek Carr's trying to get his receivers killed. Horrible penalties killing momentum. Almost 450 yards of offense? Doesn't matter, we need to get the ball to Taysom Hill every chance we can. Arthur Smith is the greatest escape artist of his own contraptions. Oh my god, you realize that Bijan is really goddamn good and you spent a top 10 pick on him? It's almost as if you're trying to win the game or something. This said a hell of a lot more about New Orleans, but the Falcons do get first place in the NFC South, with the sub 500 record. Oh yeah, baby. Tank Division is back. If you ever want to know if a game is miserable, just look at the stadium it's being played in. Whenever MetLife's involved, you're all but guaranteed to watch something terrible. Desmond Ridder versus Tim Boyle in peak football. I should clarify that it's pure sicko mode pigskin, an acquired taste that goes beyond the comprehension of the average fan. Why score offensive touchdowns when you can generate safeties? The supposed best the NFL world has to offer in what could be classified as a form of torture. Inept play abound in soggy conditions as both offenses try to figure out how to crawl out of a play-calling womb. The absolute worst game I've seen since Chargers-Patriots. The unfortunate thing is that both teams aren't put to death immediately. That mercy killing is only for the Jets. We'll now refer to this era as a boil on their ass. Trevor Siemian gets revenge for the start he got knocked out of in 2019 by leading the Jets to another loss. Atlanta won in spite of themselves, which further confirms that Arthur Smith put all his skill points in the luck trait. It's so bad in Jetland that Zach Wilson doesn't want to go back in. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is totally gonna fix this. He'll die on the first drive again if he returns. We've only got 5 weeks left in the season from hell itself. That means the playoffs are about to be seen as we crest over the hill. And then the race to the finish will truly begin. The NFC is much more slanted towards the top. Philly still remains the number 1 seed despite their loss, but San Francisco and Detroit are gaining on them fast. As the clown in the Army Battalion, Atlanta is 4th in Tank Division. Dallas should be in a top 4 spot, but they're stuck in a division with the Eagles. The other 2 wildcard spots are a 4-team race. The Vikings and Packers claim positions for now, but the Rams and Seahawks are right on their tail. Right behind them, the Buccaneers and Saints are knocking on the door of Tank Division. And the Bears and Giants are currently in a combination of long-term planning and extremely slim chances to make noise. This is the playoff situation, and the madness is only going to amplify. There's only one rule, and sadly the Panthers didn't follow it.
Don't get eliminated!
Winner of this game will hold superiority over Tank Division. This is one of the most damning testaments to how painful the NFL has become. An actual division of an elite American league will be held by its version of an old lion or the scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. If only Atlanta had a brain. Passable quarterback play, proper scheming. What the hell is that? Easy touchdown for Tampa, but remember this is Atlanta. What do you mean they actually threw the ball to Kyle Pitts? Yep, that's it, someone's getting killed in the locker room. Both teams want to lose. Tampa Bay's out here tossing the ball 5 yards behind the damn line of scrimmage on a 4th and short. But Atlanta can't do anything with it. So they can just rely on Younghoe Koo. Or not. Good offense? Do you expect that from an Arthur Smith team? His game plan involves a damn monkey banging cymbals, as Younghoe Koo somehow blew another kick. Oh no, you can't get bailed out by Talon again. Poor Arthur. Given enough time and the Falcons defense finally breaks. Rashad White in a long touchdown to give Tampa a 2-score lead. But that's not enough for Atlanta. They have to give the home crowd more false hope that perhaps they can win it again. Arthur Smith can escape his own incompetence because he actually used Bijan on a drive. The Buccaneers managed to move into field goal range, but not much more. And it's now a 5-point deficit for Atlanta. Cue the Bucs secondary turning into Swiss cheese. Todd Bowles isn't much better than Arthur, you know. Desmond Ridder does something somehow, and they get a touchdown. Life cannot end. I want to be free. Bad news for the Falcons fans in attendance. Do you know what Baker Mayfield does best? Pull up his big boy pants and lead a clutch touchdown drive. It's almost routine.
35 seconds. Mayfield to the end zone. It is caught. Otten. Touchdown.
The Bucs are going to win. This is the most hilarious outcome imaginable. Atlanta should have, at minimum, a 3-game lead on this division, but Arthur Smith is an idiot savant. Heavy emphasis on idiot. Tampa Bay, who had lost 6 of 7 before last week, now leads a living testament to relegation. This is Tank Division. This is art. Embrace the shit show. Well, this is gonna take a bit to sort out. Scriptwriters are generating so much hope that it could power a small town for years on end. A mediocrity carousel that'll make your head spin. The age of upsets brings us endless mosh pits. The NFC is even worse off. But we have a new number 1 seed in San Francisco because Dallas has usurped the Eagles in the division lead for now. They're in second place. Detroit, despite their struggles as of late, have 3rd seed, which won't be in danger. That's because Tampa Bay is somehow leading Tank Division. The abomination we hoped would die. They'll have the right to host Philly in a wildcard game if things stand. With second wildcard, I don't know how, but the Vikings are in sole possession of it. 1 million explosions and somehow alive. Same as Green Bay in the wildcard spot that should not exist. A 5-way tie exists for the right to get slaughtered. The Rams, Seahawks, Falcons, and Saints are also in the mix for better or worse. And in the background, the Giants and Bears are kicking back laughing at how the hell they're only a game back of a dance ticket. Welcome to the mess, kids. We've got 4 games left. Only 1 spot's been clinched and 2 teams are out. Buckle up. Keep your hands inside at all times. And one more thing.
Don't get eliminated!
Just feel the excitement in the air for this pivotal Tank Division matchup. Tickets available for less than a Subway sandwich, and still the fans are socially distancing themselves from the stadium. Pouring rain, 2 shitty football teams, one led by the new age Dan Snyder. They should have honestly been paying people to come to this shit. There's nothing that makes my depraved heart swoon more than endless punting. It was entering true greatness. Until the Falcons ruined it with a long touchdown drive. This organization fucks up everything and I hate it with every fiber of my being. It's only 7-3, but the Panthers are so useless that it feels like 28-3. If this were any other team, this game would long be over. But you forget that this is Atlanta, their QB is garbage, and their head coach probably has an intellectual disability. Implosions are to be expected. Oops, Bijan fumbled the football. That means Arthur's taking away his ball-carrying privileges. Carolina can't do much of anything with it, but they do kick a field goal. Now, all Atlanta has to do is keep the ball safe as they move down the field, and the game is all but won. Do you seriously expect the Panthers to score a touchdown? You underestimate Desmond Ridder's ability to be shit.
Here comes Ridder. He was just able to get away from the pressure, but he throws a pick. Taken away by Xavier Woods.
Taylor Heineke's got his flaws, but he sure as hell wasn't throwing that kind of puke. Using your best weapons on offense? Preparing for the elements? What are you, crazy? The defense is simply going to buckle and fall to shit on some of the most obvious ducks that Bryce Young can throw in these miserable conditions. Carolina's in field goal range. The Falcons are choking again. Jesus Christ, don't just fire Arthur Smith, throw him in the ocean with concrete shoes.
We'll try to boot the Panthers to a win and deliver a huge blow to the playoff hopes of the Falcons and give Chris Tabor his first win as an NFL head coach, and he's done it.
You lost to the winning the division? What the fuck is wrong with me? This team couldn't even beat a 2-year-old in a game of Connect 4. What the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ. Another tick of the clock has passed. And while several teams have secured tickets to the dance, there is so much more at stake in this final stretch. The NFC is San Francisco's to lose. They stand alone for the number 1 seed right now, with Dallas, Detroit, and Philly having outside chances at it. In spite of a 3-game skid, Philly still controls their own destiny. If they and Dallas both win out, they will control the NFC East due to strength of schedule. The Cowboys are just hoping their rival keeps failing. The big scenario is tank division. Tampa Bay has the potential to run away with a spot due to a 3-game win streak. New Orleans is hot on their tail, but currently lose tiebreaker. Atlanta just keeps choking, so they're on the outside. Like in the AFC, there's a 4-way tie for 2 wildcard spots. Minnesota's in troubled waters, but still has the 6th seed. The LA Rams, after a Packers loss, now control the final spot. The Seahawks and Saints are also in the mix and are eager to steal a spot for their own. Behind them, Green Bay and Atlanta need a good bit of help now after their last 2 defeats. I wish you all good tidings and safe travels in this final week of 2023. Christmas season is hectic, but these holidays get more special with age. Enjoy your time with friends and family, cherish what you have in life, and do me one favor, please.
Don't get eliminated!
Speaking of the AFC South, the Colts crashed down to reality hard this week. To be fair, they've been playing way over their heads this season, and I commend the hell out of them for it. However, in Georgia, Indy just fell flat on their faces. It's typical Falcons football. Play like absolute shit against awful teams and in must-win scenarios, then somehow pull off a perfectly executed game plan when the season is all but lost. Finally, Arthur Smith uses logic and benches the absolutely shitty quarterback for a less shitty one. It's like we've been screaming for months. Is Taylor Heineke perfect? Hell no. But Heineke isn't throwing into triple coverage 4 separate times a game. Actually using Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts on the offense. Holy shit, it's a goddamn breakthrough. With the defense putting Minshew through hell, it's the Steelers phenomenon. Atlanta won in unbelievably convincing fashion for the first time in ages, and I'm somehow even angrier at them for it. Falcons, fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. You don't get credit when you piss away nearly an entire season. I don't care if you dominated. Get the fuck out of here. 2 more weeks to go, yet we have solved next to nothing. A few more pieces have moved into position, but very little set in stone. 2 teams clinched, 2 more eliminated, yet there are still 10 more teams that need to be cut off from the pack. The NFC number 1 seed has a new wrinkle with San Francisco's loss. Philadelphia has a renewed chance to stake a claim for that title in spite of themselves. Detroit has it in their sights as well, but the Niners still control their own destiny in that regard. The NFC East is a simple proposition. An Eagles win or Cowboys loss in the next 2 weeks means Philly secures a home playoff game. And they play the Cardinals and Giants. Barring a hilarious collapse, it's theirs. Tank division at Tampa Bay further secure a home matchup against most likely Dallas. Atlanta and New Orleans are a game back, but their best shot of doing anything is in the wildcard barring an implosion. The wildcard spots, excluding Dallas, are now solely controlled by the Rams and Seahawks, with LA controlling tiebreaker. 1 game back are Minnesota, Atlanta, Green Bay, and New Orleans in mixed states of being. And then the Bears. Somehow not dead yet. We have 2 weeks left, and the purge will shortly commence. Make your preparations now, for there will only be one phrase chanted throughout the land.
Don't get eliminated!
Standard operating procedure for the Falcons. Have one of their best performances of the year, then followed up by questioning if they even prepared in practice. A dome team moving into the elements and being fucking terrible in the cold. A tale as old as time. It's not what Atlanta did, it's mainly that they didn't do anything. They played like unbelievable ass. Like most games this year, their quarterback play was abhorrent. No matter if Heineke or Ritter chucked garbage out there. The defense emulating that awful play but refusing to stop Chicago's offense at any point in time. The worst part is that the Falcons still have a chance to win tank division. A damning statement. The Bears are merely playing for pride, to prepare for a fascinating offseason where they can shape the team in any fashion. They've had a strong run, but mostly against really shitty teams or self-destructing franchises, so you can't really gauge much except appreciating wins. It might not be for the best. Much to Chicago's chagrin, Matt Eberflus is likely keeping his job. And much to football chagrin, Arthur Smith is likely keeping his. Why is Arthur secure with gross incompetence like this? Things got much clearer and much more confusing at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but we must accept this chaotic landscape known as reality. There were some clinchings, however, many scenarios must be cleared up. Philly did not perform, and as a result of their choke and other unnamed factors, Dallas now controls the NFC East. If they beat up on some commies once again, they will host home playoff games. If not, the door opens back up for the Eagles. But no guarantees. Tank Division is a hellscape. All three of Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and Atlanta have a chance to claim its melted crown. The Buccaneers control their own destiny against an awful Carolina team, but if they somehow fail, the Saints or Falcons will drunkenly stumble into a home game as they play each other. There's only one wildcard spot left to claim, and it's the 7th seed that should not exist. Green Bay now controls their own destiny after Seattle lost, but they have to win against the Bears. If they fail, the door opens for rivals. The Seahawks will get first crack. If they also lose, New Orleans can take it. If they all fail, Minnesota gets the chance to defy fate itself. It's crunch time, boys. The final week is upon us. You've made it this far, but the cold reality is there are only so many spots available. Good luck, and may the gods smile upon you.
Don't get eliminated!
Tank Division is coming to a head here. Tampa Bay wins it by default if they somehow don't shit it hard against Carolina. And Atlanta and New Orleans will be eager to pounce if things somehow implode for them. To Louisiana we go. The New Orleans Saints special. Do absolutely nothing until it's far too late, and then flash the incredible upside that had the fan base interested at the start of the year. I'm gonna be completely honest, all you did was put Atlanta out of their misery. The Falcons have been so mismanaged this year that even Arthur Anderson couldn't fudge the numbers in their favor. I'll give them credit. They do a tremendous job finding ways to not only lose, but embarrass themselves royally in the process. Why are they still trying to make Desmond Ridder a thing? These shitty passes he's throwing are benchable at the high school level, yet Arthur Smith keeps mocking us all for rightfully calling him shit. All this talent on offense and you're trusting it to the equivalent of town drunks and village idiots. Hell, the defense has been giving up big plays ad nauseum as of late, so why not keep it going? What a shitty football team and what a shitty way to waste everything given to an ungrateful fuck. I need to apologize. I underestimated the incompetence of the Falcons when I thought they'd win the division. I will never do so again. But what's truly important to the Falcons are the sanctity of unwritten rules. Arthur Smith's having a pissy fit because the Saints dared to get a struggling player his first TD on the year. I have a better idea, Arthur. How about not running your offense through Jonnu Smith, you fucking hack?
No.
When I think the Atlanta failures can't outchoke themselves in a given season, by God, they find a way to elevate their game in ways we cannot comprehend. It's the only thing they're good for if we're being honest. The Falcons lost to the following teams this season. The Commanders, featuring the worst pass defense in the league. The Titans, debuting a rookie quarterback who threw 4 touchdowns against them. A quarterback who was thrust into action 5 days after being acquired. A quarterback in his first game back from a torn ACL. The 1-win Carolina Panthers. The god-awful overthinking mess of an offense was the main culprit. So ass-backwards its ability to stifle was puritanical. How many times we had to see Desmond Ridder be fucking terrible at football? And Taylor Heineke just a tad better? All of these top 10 talents at the skill positions and the offense features Jonnu Smith? It's like taking the greatest show on turf and running it through Joe Germain, Ricky Prohl, and Jeff Robinson. It doesn't make sense. And when people would rightfully criticize the shitty deployments, Arthur Smith would get pissy and curt with them. Solve the world's problems. I wouldn't trust this fucker to solve a knock-knock joke. He didn't care for winning in fantasy, and he certainly didn't win games in reality. Which is why he's gone. The only positive out of this miserable, underachieving mess of a year. I flirted with Bill Belichick for a hot minute, but I'll spare you the blown lead jokes. Former interim coach Raheem Morris is the new head honcho. The bar in Atlanta is unbelievably low. If he fucks this up, it's damning.